YouTube, what's happening? It's your boy Penny LS1 checking in real quick. Hey, look, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Check me out on TikTok and Instagram at Penny LS1. But today, I'm gonna attempt to get this parking brake situated on my 86 Monte Carlo, aka mini skirt. A lot of you guys have been asking me questions. Have I gotten it figured out yet? For those of you who don't know, I converted my rear drum brakes to disc brakes off of S10 Blazer, and a lot of guys was asking me, how did I get the parking brake to work? Well, up until now I haven't. Okay, so if you're watching this video, if this video is published, which means if it doesn't work, you're not gonna see it. So if you're seeing it, if you're listening to me talk right now, that means I figured it out. So I do have some parts here laid out that I'll show you how I plan on adapting the cables to pull the parking brake. So first, let me take you around back, show you the setup, and then I'll show you the parts that I'm going to use, and then I'll kind of explain the process, and then I'll go through the process, and hopefully we can get this done in one day. So let's go around back and check it out. All right, so here we go. So this is the setup. Like I say, Blazer caliber attached to the Blazer spindle / knuckle, whatever you want to call it, for the rear, along with the backing plate. The backing plate is what actually attaches the part. Wait, does the lever attach to that backing plate? I can't even remember. Let me look. Yeah, you need the backing plate, because I had somebody ask me, do you need the backing plate, or can you get away with just using the knuckle? Let me get under here and I'll show you. But this is the setup. So I think it's a 98 to 04 Chevy S10 Blazer. I'm not sure if the four-wheel drive work on the rear or not. I was told the four-wheel drive would not work on the front, for those that were asking me that question, and it's because the knuckle is different in the front. So Blazer caliber, Blazer rotors. These are the same studs that I have on the front. I'll put the part number up on the screen. You don't necessarily need longer studs unless you're going to be running bigger wheels or with a different offset. The factory wheels, is plenty room on the factory studs, but I put these in here because I plan on running bigger wheels down the line. So for those who haven't seen, also running QA1 coilovers with the BMR, I believe, relocation bracket. Without that bracket, that coilover is too close and it will hit this caliber. So if you have coilovers, if you don't already have a relocation bracket and you plan on running this setup, you will need that bracket. And then of course I have new brake lines, new hard lines coming from the T. I also replaced that soft line that goes up over the axle as well. So let me get under here and I'll kind of point out everything else that I did, and then we'll get to the new parts. All right, so here's another angle from underneath. Once again, coilover relocation bracket. And then we got new soft lines. I got these from Summit. These are Russell. These are universal. You can get these in any size or any length. I believe these are 4AN. They may be 3AN. I'll put it down in the description, the part number or the link to Summit. And then I have the hard lines, or you can cut the original one, which is what I did initially, but then I swapped them out with this kit from Inline Tube. You can get this kit, it's already cut, because if you don't know, the original one, it goes all the way straight into the back of the original backing plate for the drum brake. So you have to cut it in order to be able to run your short line. So if you get this disc brake conversion kit hard line from Inline Tube, it's already cut short. This is separate. You have to either, and I have some weld on tabs. I'm gonna wait and do that until I get ready to do my rear end and get that all freshened up. So you can buy a kit like this to just temporarily clamp them on here. So once again, I got a new short line, soft line from the top of the body down to the rear end, and then of course the hard lines go all the way over. Same thing on the other side. So that's a quick overview of the setup. And man, I haven't been on here in a while. It's actually pretty neat, pretty clean on here. I still need to get it finished painting under here, but there's my fuel filter regulator, my exhaust. So anyway, so that's the setup. So let me show you the parts that I'm going to be using to adapt this parking brake cable to these brakes. All right, so what we're looking at right there is the stock parking cables off the Monte Carlo. The short one is the driver's side, the long one is the passenger side. So the reason these need to be changed, two reasons. For one, this end right here, which is what connects to the actual parking brake lever on the drum brakes, for one, it has this end on it, which is just like a ball stop. The Blazer has this, so you need to adapt. You need to figure out a way to get this to work with this. That was my first problem. So initially I was going to try to find this piece and then maybe weld it on there. So that's one problem. The second problem, on the driver's side, well, both sides, but this end right here that goes into the actual back end plate, if you see, this one's been modified. See all the grind marks? So if you look at this one, you see this lip right here? This is what I have to grind off, because on the Blazer, I mean on the Monte Carlo, the backing plate on the Monte Carlo is a real thin, whereas the part that this goes in on the Blazer is thick. So this is stopping it from going in far enough to where these little pins will click and lock the housing in place. So this is part of the housing. This isn't the actual cable itself. So I'll show you that, but I went ahead and did this one because, like I said, I've been working on this for a while. So this will click right into the backing plate on the Blazer. So the solution is keep your original conduit, housing, whatever you call this. These are kind of jacked up. They're actually pretty bad. I'll probably end up getting new ones once I get everything fitted and working properly. Once I, because what I did was I ended up buying new cables for the Blazer, which is these extra long ones you see right here. So like I say, since this is my project, my trial and error, I'm basically doing R&D, research and development, because I'm going to make these cables, and if they work, I'm going to buy new cables. So right now I bought the Blazer cables. As you can see, both of them are longer than those two. The reason for that is because you have to basically cut the ends off. Well, not that end. Cut those ends off and recrimp new ends on. So I got the long ones, that way I can cut them to length and put the proper ends on them. So what you want to do, in my case, I just got 2 passenger side cables for the Blazer because they're too long. Initially, I think I already threw it out. Initially I had bought a driver's side cable, which is long enough, but once you cut the ball stop off so that you can feed it through the conduit on the on the Monte Carlo conduit, now the cable is just a tad bit too short when you crimp the new one on, and you can't get it to connect to the union right underneath the driver's seat. So just take my advice and go ahead and get 2 passenger side cables. That way they're plenty long, then you can just cut them to length. So what I have to do is cut the ends off, and in my case it's these ends. That way you can pull this cable out of this housing or conduit. So we want to basically use this cable, and we're going to feed it inside the stock G-Body housing. Does that make sense? So one of them needs to stop like this. One of them will still have this on it, on the end that connects to the union, and the other one is going to have this threaded rod like that. So the other problem was, where do I find this piece at? Because you can see right here how this is crimped on, right? So once you cut this, you have to cut this off to get this cable out of this conduit. So then you have to figure out how to get it back on. Do you weld it? What do you do? So I want to send a shout out. So like I said, I do want to send a shout out. I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but he commented on one of my shorts, or maybe the video when I was talking about the parking brake situation. He said, why don't you just use a, I think it's pronounced Swage stud. Y'all probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But when he said that, I Googled it because I had no idea what that meant. So I Googled it, and when the picture popped up, I was like, that's exactly what I've been looking for. So some of you guys probably know what that is. So let me show you what it is. Basically, a Swage stud is what they use when you make fencing, and they use steel cable. So it's basically this. So this end is exactly what we need, right? It's just like this right here. You see that? Now this one is smaller, but that's okay because the nut's big enough. But then on the other end, you can stick your cable in there and crimp it, see? Because initially I had just bought an all thread and I was just gonna try to drill it out and then get the cable in there, and I was gonna weld it. So shout out to you, you know who you are. I'll put a link to these. I got these off of Amazon. You can probably find them at Granger, or if you got a Tractor Supply Company maybe near you. And Home Depot's supposed to carry them, but they usually don't have them in the store. You can get them online. But I got these off of Amazon. Yeah, 10 pack for I believe $15 off Amazon. Like I said, I'll put the link down in the description. So that's what we're gonna use for that solution. And then for the driver's side, it's just this little ball stop. You can get this at any hardware store. I believe I got this at Ace. So these are 1/8 inch diameter, inside diameter. Same thing as this. It's a 1/8 inch because that's the same size as the cable. So first thing I'm gonna do is cut these ends off. And well, let me show you how this piece right here, like I said, it has to be modified to fit. Let me show, hold on. This end right here, this one I've already done, but yeah, this one, come on, focus. God damn. Yeah, this one I've already done, but I have to modify the other one to get this piece off right here. That's gonna go on the backing plate, that little lip right there. So let me show you how it won't fit, and then I'm gonna use my burr carbide burr bit to grind that off. All right, so what I'm trying to point out is with this piece right here, with that lip, it will not fit. Now this is about the same thickness. This right here, it's about the same thickness of the backing plate, which is what this needs to go into, this particular end on this conduit. So I'm gonna show you how when you push it through here, and the teeth, if you look at the teeth, they're supposed to go all the way through and click. So it goes all the way through, but it doesn't click. See how I'm able to just pull it back out? See that? So this lip is preventing it from going all the way through, and I believe the teeth are maybe a little bit long, but first I'm gonna grind the lip off. So how it's supposed to do, see on this end, doesn't have that lip. So when you stick this through, it'll go all the way through. You hear click? See, now I can't pull it out. Now if you're looking, you can see the teeth all the way through. So in order to get that off, you can use a 13mm box wrench and just slide it over the top of the cable. And then basically this wrench is just gonna compress those teeth, and then you can just pull it out. So if you don't have the tool, you can use a box wrench. Like I say, they do make a tool, which I didn't know about the box wrench. I had bought the tool initially, so it's basically the same thing. It just does the same thing. It just goes over like that and compresses the teeth. So, uh-oh, I think I got it stuck on there. I did get it stuck on there. All right, well, let me get this off. I'm gonna pull this cable out. Well, I can do that now. Let me put my safety glasses on real quick. We'll go ahead and cut this end off. So basically, I don't need this cable at all. All I need from the factory, Monte Carlo, is the conduit. So get you some cable cutters, steel braided cable cutters, whatever they call them. So get it on there. Snap that right off. And then all you got to do is pull out the cable. I think it should come right out. I might have to spray some lube in there because it's probably old and rusty. So let me get this tool off first because I got it stuck on here. How am I gonna do that? I have no idea. I'm gonna get a flathead. So let me do that, and then I'll pull this cable out of this conduit and I'll cut y'all back on. All right, so I was able to get it out. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear this fan. I got the fan blowing because look, it's 90 degrees, 57% humidity out here right now. So let me know. I do have the wind muff on my mic, so it should be okay. But if y'all hear, let me know, and I'll make a change on the next one. But so I'm getting ready to use this carbide burr bit to take off this lip. we'll test fit it before we do anything with the clips here. So we put y'all on time lapse. We'll go ahead and get that done and cut you back on here in a minute.
Can't believe this shit, man.
Alright, took a minute, but I got it. So it's on there. Now I can't pull it off. So let me just use this. And I'll show you. Had to do quite a bit of grinding to get it off. I mean, to get it to. And then look, now another wrench will work. I'm used to two. But I had to do quite a bit of grinding to get this thing to sit down in there and snap in place. Look, now I can't even get it out. Hope I ain't cut them too short. Let's see. Nah. Oh, okay. No, it's coming out. So, like I say, the lip is completely gone, so we got that off. And then I did have to grind each one of those little pins or whatever you call them, just to shorten them just a little bit so that they can get pushed all the way through so they can clip in. So I think I got it. Let me give it one more test fit, make sure I don't have to do no more grinding. So I hear it click, and then, because basically when you push the parking brake lever with your foot, this needs to stay in place, because this is actually what's going to pull this way, but it'll pull that way, and that's what pulls the cable. So if this comes out, then it's not going to work. So I think I got it. I think I may have to do, no, it's in there. Just make sure all the pins pushed all the way through. We'll know for sure once you put it on there, because it'll, see, like that one right there slipped out. So, yep, that one slipped out. I don't know why. It's like on an angle. So let me grind that back just a little bit. I wonder if it's this. Yeah, it's not actually all the way in. So let me do a little bit more grinding, and then I'll cut y'all back on in a minute. Yeah, it's not all the way in. So that one tooth is coming out right there. So that they all came out. So I think I need to grind them back just a little bit. So let me do that and I'll cut y'all back on. Alright, so I got it. So what I ended up doing was using the needle nose here, and I was able to just pull each individual little clip up so that it sticks out like that, and then I just used the burr bit. Sorry for the focus here. The burr bit to just shorten it just a little bit. So I did that on each one. I just had a hard time getting it out, so I'm not gonna put it back in, but it does clip in now and it stays. So we're good to go. The lip is ground off, and just go ahead and pull all these out. That way when you stick them in, they'll compress and then they'll clip in place. So just get those pulled out like that, and we're good to go. So the housing is prepared. Let's go ahead and get the cables. I already pulled one of them out of this one. Well, I pulled this one out, but let me go ahead and pull the new ones out. We'll cut the ends off the new ones and get those prepared to go in to the factory housing. So let's do that now. All right, so like I say, I got two passenger side cables for the Blazer, so they're extra long. You can't use the conduit, so you're only getting these for the cable. So if you're pulling these at the yard, if you're pulling the brakes in the back, if the cables are good shape, just go ahead and get them. Go ahead and cut this end off. Don't cut the other end off. So cut this end off and just pull the cable out of the conduit, and then you'll be good to go. You'll have what you need. So I'm just gonna cut this as soon as I find my glasses. We'll just cut this off. Hold on, let me turn the screen around so I can make sure y'all in sight. So let's go ahead and cut this off, and we can pull this out. Just cut as close as you can to the fitting or whatever. Now with this cable, it does have this rubber or wax, whatever this is on there. So in order to get this to fit, because I already did this, so this piece right here, when you get ready to put it in this fitting, it's not going to go in with the wax on it. So you're going to take a razor blade, and I'll show you here in a second. So basically you can just pull this out. All you're going to need is this right here. See how long that is? That's extra long. So, and unfortunately you don't need these, so you can keep it, do whatever you want with it. But the reason you can't use these, because these ends right here will not fit on the car. They'll fit on the brakes in the rear, but they won't fit on this piece right here. It's too big. It won't even, last I checked, it wouldn't even, yeah, it won't even go in there. Now you can probably wobble that out if you want to, but you still can't use this conduit because it's too long. The conduit is too long for both sides. So just take my word for it. I'm doing the research and development on it right now. We'll get it figured out. And so let me go ahead and cut the other one, and then I'll get my razor blade and show you what I'm talking about as far as trimming back this wax coating or whatever that is. So cut that off. Go ahead and pull this out. So that's done. So this all you need. You need both ends with this on it, with these two fittings, and with this spring. So you need this, and whatever length this cable is, you can cut it to length to match once you put it on the car. I think one of these, I don't know how one of these is longer than the other. I thought I bought the same size. They are different because the ends are different. They're the same, but one's shaped different. So I must have got a different trim. But they're plenty length. But this one is a little bit longer. It's a lot longer. So what I'll do is I'll use that short one on the driver's side and the long one on the passenger side. So let me get my blade, and I'll trim back this wax so I can show you what I'm talking about. Because if you don't trim that back, like I say, it's not going to fit in here. Like, you can only get that much in. That the part that's uncovered, that'll slide right in. That's 1/8 inch, but this makes it thicker. So let's shave that off. So I went ahead and cut the fan off. I did realize it was making a lot of noise in the background. So basically what you're gonna do is just, you know, get your razor blade, you know, with the handle on or whatever, and you're just gonna do this right here. You just cut that off. So that way you can get it to slide into the swage. See that? That's all you need to do, and then you can get it in there. Bam. So I'm gonna cut off some more because I want it to go all the way to right there. So we'll cut it off to about right here. About right there. You can burn it off if you want to. I think it's just some type of silicone, plastic or whatever. Now this is stainless steel cable, so it shouldn't rust. So there you go. It bottomed out. So now we just gonna crimp it. I'm gonna use this battery crimper. Let me do this other one real quick. Cut it down to about right there. Actually, on this one I don't need to go that far down. Let me see which one is longer. I forgot that quick. Because the other one's getting a stop. It's not getting that swage joint. So let's see which one was longer. It was this one. Okay, so this is the only one I need to cut long. This one I'll keep it short, but I'll cut it off just a little bit. Because on this one, all I need to do is put this little piece on right there and crimp it. So really, I could just leave it like that. But I take that back because I'm gonna have to cut it to length. So we'll wait to do that one. Actually, both of them gonna get cut to length. So, but anyway, just keep that in mind. You will have to shave off the plastic to get it to fit in the swage. But I'm gonna cut them to length once I put them on the car. I just realized that. But what I'm gonna use to crimp this swage joint on there is just my battery, my hydraulic battery crimping tool. And I found the 4-gauge jaws work the best for sizing. Let me see. Because I already did it actually, so the 4-gauge is closest to, wait, no, that was on that other fitting. This one might be smaller. Yeah, I probably have to use the 6-gauge for this one. I used the 4-gauge on that on this piece right here. 4-gauge. This one looks smaller. Nah, it might be all right. Let me see. Yeah, because it slides through. So 6 gauge. I'll probably use the 6 gauge and then crimp it with that. Let's see real quick where my 6 gauge jaws at. 6 gauge. Yeah, 6 gauge probably be just a tad bit smaller. So that should work. Is that 6? That's a 9. What else the 6 gauge at? Oh, there we go. I ain't never seen 9 gauge before. I think they actually make a tool specifically for these fittings, but like I said, I use this. It seemed to work pretty good. Yeah, so it's a little bit more snug on the 6 gauge. Yeah, so use the 6 gauge if you're going to use the battery crimping tool. See how it doesn't go in there? So when you put it in there like that and cinch it down, it's going to give a nice tight fit. So we'll do that. So let's go ahead and fit these in the Blazer, in the Monte Carlo housing, and then it's time to get under the car and do some real work, I guess. So let's get that part done, and I'll cut y'all back on. I'm gonna put them in the housing, and then I'll cut y'all back on in a second. All right, guys, I don't know what happened to the audio, but I'm basically mounting the conduit back to the car. That's a 13mm bolt, and there's a little notch where that bracket goes in. And then on this end, this is where this is the driver's side where the conduit actually snaps into it. There's a bracket right there on the trailing arm mount. You can see it right there. So once you get those two things mounted in, then you just have to run this cable through that hole right there. And then the loop right here, that connects. Let me get in there, see if I can get in there. Bear with me, y'all. That's gonna connect to, see that little piece right here. That's where that's gonna connect to. See it? So that loop's gonna connect to this, and we should be good to go. So let me get that pushed through the hole. See if I can do it. Yeah, y'all can see the hole right there. Let me see if I can do it with y'all. Hold on. Okay, yeah, right there. So we could take this, stick that through there with the spring as well. Bring the cable through. Now, like I say, the cable is too long, so we're going to have to cut it, but we're going to cut it on the other end. So we're going to push that through and get it on that piece that I was just pointing at right there. So let me get under there so I can see it better, because that spring is there. So let me because I need two things. Get this right there snapped in place, but I want to get the hook on there first. So let me do that real quick. All right, so the hook's on. See that right there? Now I just need to snap this in place. Yeah, let me grab my gloves. I can't get a grip and I ain't trying to cut my hand. All right, so we got that snapped in. It's secure, as well as the hook. Got that in as well. So we're good to go on this side. I just need to put the bolt in that I was showing y'all earlier up top up there. We'll get that fastened in. Where is it? Can't even see it. Up there, right there. We'll get that bolt fastened in, and then we'll be done on this side. And then we just need to go to that bolt right there to the other side and cut it to length and crimp the swage stud on. All right, so I went ahead and put the driver's side one on. So we got it snapped into the knuckle, and we got the cable hook installed, and we got it going in here to the union. That's what I was talking about, that little piece right there. So this top one is the that's the passenger side, the driver's side, and then this one is the passenger side. So we got to figure out where to cut this bottom cable and put that swage joint on there, and then you'll still have some adjustability. Whereas this one, they both, well, yeah, this one only connects at this, but this one up here is fixed in right there. And then it's gonna connect, let's see, all the way to, where is it? Where'd that piece go? Right here. It's gonna connect right here. So, and that's the top one. So I need to cut it long enough to where it'll be tight so I can crimp that little ball in on and get it to squeeze up in there. So this is what's gonna, when you push the foot pedal, the brake, that's what's gonna pull this cable. So all we gotta do now is get this put in, get that crimped on, and get this crimped on. And we can wrap this up. Yeah, so I'm gonna do this one first, and get the cable cut to length, trim off the wax coating, and get this crimped on. And we'll see if we can get this one squared away. Okay, so I got it cut. Hope I ain't cut it too short, but so now I just gotta trim off the coating so that I can get this on there. And I'm gonna trim it off about that much so that I can get it in there and crimp it. Okay, so I got it trimmed back, as you can see right here. It's just enough to where when I stick this in here, it'll fit on there, and I'll still have room for adjustment if I need to tighten it up. Damn. You don't want it too tight without having to adjust it, because then you'll be pulling the brakes. So if I can get it on there. So that's how that's gonna go, and then you still got that much room to adjust it if you need to tighten it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and crimp that, and this side will be done. That's the passenger side cable, and this is the driver's side one right here that's clipped into this bracket. So we almost there. Okay, so I got that crimped on. I said initially I said it was a 4 gauge. I actually ended up using a 9 gauge, or that didn't have a 10 gauge, but 9 gauge, and then 12 gauge was this next smaller one. But the 9 gauge crimp, I did it 4 places. I did one here, 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 and here. I think it's on there pretty solid. I think I got the adjustment. So like right there, there's no tension on the cable yet. So that should be good. I might go get another nut to put one on the back to have a lock, have it lock so it doesn't move. And then I'll probably put some Loctite on there. We'll see. So now I just got to cut this cable to length and put that stop on it. Right. So let's get that cut, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, we're almost there, but I just had an epic failure. So I had got it mounted to that right there. As you can see, the wire is now frayed. So what happened was I put the stop on. I was able to get it in there. So I went in the car to push the brake to test it, and it just snatched it off. So I guess I didn't crimp that part on hard enough. So I actually just got back from the hardware store. So I had ran out. I only had 2, and I did a test earlier. So I went and got 2 more stops. So I'm gonna re-crimp it. Let me show you what it looked like when it came off. So this is it right here. So I crimped it on there, and it's not gonna crimp completely round like, where's the other one? Like this one. This was the original one. And it's because I'm not using a round crimper. It's a battery crimper. So after I crimped it, I actually had to grind the sides off so that it'll fit, so that it would fit in here. So it went in there, and so like I said, I went inside the car to test it, and as soon as I put my foot on the parking brake, it just pulled the cable out of there. So I was using the 6 gauge die, so I may have to use the 12 gauge just so I can get it crimped on tighter. So let's try that again. So I just went up to the hardware store and got another box, or it comes like this with 2 of those little ones, and then 2 of those double ones like this. So okay, So we got good news, I got bad news. Good news first. Car's in neutral. It's hard to spin, but it does spin. Hold up, let me set y'all up. The wheel spins, see that? And I want you to see this also. I'm gonna engage the parking brake. So as you saw, the wheels were spinning. I'm gonna go ahead and push the parking brake. Okay, fully engaged. Come back to the back. And try to turn it now. No bueno. Oh snap, there is still some movement, but I probably need to adjust it. But as you can see, it does engage. That's the good news. I can fine tune, adjust it to get it to be tighter. Because like I said, it's moving with my hands and that's not good at all. Actually, it's tight, but we'll get that adjusted. Here's the bad news. See that right there? It's almost sliding out. It's barely got enough bite. It's holding on for dear life. So the problem is the crimper that I'm using is made for battery. It's designed for battery cables, so it's not keeping this around. I had to grind it down in order for it to fit in there because it was squeezing it and pushing out, making ears. So problem is that, because watch this. Once I disengage, because see right now it's nice and tight, see? But you see that it slid all the way back. So once I release the brake, this cable is going to slide that way and then it's going to be slack. Watch this. Sorry, I'm trying to do it with one hand while okay, here we go. About to pull the brake release. See that? That's too loose. So I'll be driving on the road with it like this. You see that piece back there? That's way too loose. Can't have that. So what I need to do is either, more than likely, I need to get the right crimping tool. Because like I say, it's in there, it's just too small so it's actually moving. This stop needs to be here and it doesn't need to slide back. So I'm gonna get the proper crimping tool. We'll pick up, I'm gonna have to, damn, I ain't gonna better cut this off. Yes, I can cut that off. So we'll get the proper crimping tool and then we'll pick it back up. All right, y'all, so it's the next day. So as you can see, I got us 90% there. So I need y'all help. I need y'all to tap down in the comments below. You see what the issue is. So I'm trying to find a stainless steel cable stop that's crimpable with the 1/8 inch inner diameter. So I did some research last night. Everything that I saw online was either aluminum or copper. The only stainless steel ones were non-crimpable ones. They were the ones that you put screws in, similar to the ones that you use on the throttle cable. So I got us 90% there. I hope this video was informative. But like I say, if you got any ideas, tab down below, let your boy know. But I appreciate everybody for all the advice leading up to this point. So today, what I'm getting ready to do, so like I always say, when you run into, obstacles, sometimes it's best to just take a break, walk away from it, do something else, come back to it, revisit it. So like I say, got us 90% there on the parking brake situation, but you get the idea of how it's gonna work. So this is what I'm getting ready to do today. This is going to be in a separate video, but I wanted to give y'all a heads up. But this is all the black trim, window trim, the sweeps. I got to take the sweeps off. I'm gonna repaint everything that's black is getting repainted black. Those the inner parts that the actual weather stripping goes into. So shout out to Mr. G-Body. He saw me when I was using this paint here to paint the chin spoiler, and this is just a one-part paint. It's trim black. It's got a nice sheen to it, but he pointed out that you should put some clear coat over it because it will fade if it's, obviously if your car gonna be sitting outside in the sun or anything, so it will fade. So what I decided to do, I went and picked up this Hot Rod Satin Black from Summit Racing. So I'm gonna do all the black is gonna be done with this trim black, and then I'm gonna top coat it with the satin clear. So that's the look that I want. So that's gonna be one video. And then also what I'm getting ready to do, I'm getting ready to go ahead and install this Dakota Digital, the GSS 3000. so that I can get my gear selector to show up on my gauges. So if you're new to the channel, I do have the Dakota Digital RTX gauges for the 86 SS. There you go. So I got everything working. I just need to program the speedometer, and I need to connect this GSS. This is what's going to give me the ability to see my gear selection on the gauges now. It's supposed to work from the factory with the transmission that I have, which is a 4060E. For some reason, mine's not recognizing the gear selections. It's not pulling that information from the computer. I reached out to Dakota Digital tech support. They basically told me if you got a computer that's been flashed or reprogrammed, if it doesn't have a stock configuration, that it's possible that the computer won't recognize the gear selection. So they did point out that that would be the part that I would need to get it to work. But I had already bought that because I needed that. Well, I didn't need it, but I'm going to use that as also as a neutral safety switch. So it has a relay in the box and a decoder. You can program it so the way you have to wire it with the relay will act as a neutral safety switch. You also get your backup lights, and then also it's going to give you gear selection. So yes, you can use the 4060E neutral safety switch. You can wire that in, but my whole point is my gears are not showing up on the cluster. So if you wire the factory 4060E neutral safety switch, then you're going to have two switches. So this will take place of both of those switches, give me my backup lights, and also give me my my gear selection. So thank you for rocking with your boy. If you're not already, click that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified when I drop these videos. Check me out on TikTok and Instagram at PennyLS1. Like I say, I got us 90% there. If y'all got any tips or pointers, help me out on this one. I will get it done, but if you got any tips or pointers, please let me know. I appreciate your support. Until next time, PennyLS1, holla at your boy.